All right, guys, we're back again with another W stream. We got today my guy LJ from Savings Money is Debt, my mentor, my friend. So we're gonna talk about debt, how to avoid it, how to get out of it, and better yet, how to become a man of value. So tune into this stream, guys. Let's go.
Tyson Graphics made.
Okay, we are back. So I know who you are, brother. Like you're definitely a mentor to me, a good friend of mine. But for the audience that doesn't know who you are, tell them who you are, LJ. You're, you on mute. All right, just tell them who you are. Oh no, you're muted. I can't hear you.
I said sorry. I thought you had some playback. Sorry.
You good? You good? All right, tell them who you are, and let's get the show on the road.
I'm sorry. I'm getting my stuff straight. Anyway, how you doing? I'm LJ Young, the founder of SMD, and I am here straight to the point, here to share my gift. And my gift is that I understand that capitalism is psychological. And so what I do with that gift is that I help people own themselves. And how do I do that? By mathematically showing them they do not. So thank you.
There you go. And funny story, guys. So I would say like 2 years ago, LJ, or at least 3 years ago, I was working at this company, tech company, and I was having some debt issues, right? I had a high credit card, at least like 20 to 15K on the card. I had also as well a loan on a motorcycle, personal loan. I don't know why I did that. And I had some other debt that was lingering along as well. And I wanted to buy a property. Or I had a property as well. So it's kind of like I had bad debt mixed with good debt. But at the same time, it was like, okay, I'm in trouble because if I don't deal with this debt now, it's gonna haunt me in the future and the present. So I was kind of like, okay, what do I do? Where do I go? So I'm on YouTube looking at how to get out of debt, how to make money. And I come across this video and I was like, who is this guy? It's so simple, but it's piercing because it's so true. Like, damn, like you're not managing your money correctly and you're dumb enough to go into the debt matrix and swim in it. And I'm like, hold on a second, like this is me. He's talking to me right now. Like, what's going on? So what did I do? I watched a bunch of his videos and I applied the strategies and it started working. But I was like, you know what? Now that I'm here, I need the next step. So I paid for mentorship, got on a call with him, and that changed my life forever, guys. Because I'm going to be honest with you. If he didn't coach me back then, I don't know where I'd be right now because I was hitting hella debt. I didn't know what I was doing. And it was kind of like, okay, what's the next step? So LJ, just a little bit of reminiscing. What happened on our phone call, if you can remember? And what'd you tell me kind of basically to get over this?
Back then, back then I didn't know capitalism was psychological. I just strictly knew that getting out of debt was good, right? So back when we met, I was already out of debt. So I just first get on the phone and listen to you, the way you speak, how you're speaking about money, when you call debt good debt, bad debt. When people put that's when people add their feelings to debt, you already know they're doing it wrong because debt is just debt. Debt is nothing. It's just, if they say it's good or bad, they're talking about how they feel about debt, about their own debt, right? And so I just kind of listened to you, see where you were at, kind of heard a lot about your character too. Because if you are calling me, you obviously can hear what I'm trying to say. Not everybody can. And so I already knew if we were on a call and you paid to talk to me, you already could hear something and you wanted to know more. And then I just laid it out to you. You had pretty much everything. It was just, I say it was just out of order. I just put it in order for you, explained it with mathematics, and you took off from there. I was like, you didn't take that much for me. Other people, it's a repetitive process, but I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's funny because when I first got on YouTube, I was doing videos in my car with my dog. And back then I was like, damn, bro, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to make it. And LJ, you saw one of my first videos I ever made.
I did.
What'd you tell me about the video?
Well, you were shy, man. You were like, you just.
Yeah, I was stuttering all over the place. I was like,
I
what do
wanted
I
you to
do?
relax. I was like, relax, but I get it. I get it. But just relax. If your dog made you more comfortable, just. But then all of a sudden, you just grew pretty quick, man. You started coming up with your own ideas. You got comfortable pretty quick, man. You did.
Yeah. Thank you,
Mhm.
brother. So LJ, tell us who you've helped in the past, like what you've done, because I think people don't give you the credit that you deserve because you're the only person I know that shows your credit score on air, as in like you show them the
Right.
actual facts behind the scenes, who you are and
Right.
what you stand for. So
Mhm.
tell them a little bit more about you because I feel like you're 100% legit. People need to know that.
Yeah. So let me give you some background how I discovered capitalism was psychological, because in psychological capitalism, there are debt slaves. Debt slaves are people that believe they own things with no money of their own. People that believe they can buy houses with mortgages, buy cars with car loans, when that's mathematically not true, right? That was me, six-figure earning debt slave. And then one day, you know who woke me up? The bank woke me up. The bank woke me up. You know how they woke me up? One day, I was going to get a loan, right? Now, I've always had good credit and good job and all that stuff, right? But this time they denied me. I was like, what? They was like, oh no, Mr. Young, your debt to income ratio is too high. I was like, what is that? What's a debt to income ratio? It means when you make this much money, but your debt is this much. Okay. And so, but here is what caught me. I said to myself, wait a minute. I have good credit, a good job. I make six figures. I've never been late on my payments, but this time you're denying me. That woke me up. And as I was looking for the definition of debt to income ratio, I came across Dave Ramsey. And basically, Dave Ramsey says, hey, take this calculator and my baby steps and get out of debt. And that's what I did. And voila. Then once I got to zero, I jumped off the Dave Ramsey plan, because in Dave Ramsey's plan, he says, pay off everything but the mortgage. And then when you get down to the mortgage, start putting away 15% into retirement. But I said to myself, but according to the calculator, as long as I have a mortgage, I can't put 15% of anything anywhere because I have no money to do anything. So that's when I jumped ship with Dave Ramsey. And then I just started my own and just started making video after video, start helping people after person. And then I end up figuring out capitalism is psychological.
Listen, man, I'm not gonna lie. We've been told a lie our whole lives, and we've been told to like just go to school,
Mhm.
get a job, get a credit card, max it out. It's okay. You could pay it off over time, and don't worry about interest. Like everyone has interest,
Mhm.
and it's funny because I think personally, bro, like your message needs to be heard because most people they live in delusion, and that was me as well too. On some
Those are
level,
debt slaves. They
yeah,
don't,
debt
but
slaves.
they don't know that though. They don't know. They don't know you can't buy a house with a mortgage, because if they did, the housing market wouldn't exist. So
Could you
they
tell
must
them
believe they are homeowners with mortgages. They have to believe that. But
what is a debt slave?
a person that believes they can own things with no money of their own,
Mm.
they believe they can buy a house with no money. The only way to buy a house is in cash. There is no other way to buy a house. But they believe they can, so they get a mortgage and call themselves a homeowner when they're not. But that is important to psychological capitalism. They must believe that. They must believe they own equity in a mortgaged house when nobody can own equity in a mortgaged house. That's 100% mathematically impossible. You can't do that.
Could you give us the debt slave lingo, like what they say normally? Because I think that's very important. For example, I own a house, or like, I own this car, and it's like you're making payments. No, you don't.
Right. Now you got to remember, if a person says those things while they're making payments, they obviously don't know that they don't own it because they're saying it. A person like me, I would never say I own a house and when I have a mortgage. I would never say that because that's not true. But when
Right.
they say it, they believe it. Hey, I'm going to buy a house. Listen to the word. I'm going to buy a house. And then you got to turn to, you mean mortgage? And then they'll say yes. They don't know that you can't do that. They don't know that. They don't know what they're saying, basically.
Yeah. And could you explain the difference between business debt and then personal debt?
Business debt, you pay back. Personal debt, you pay back. Business debt, your customers pay back. That's the
Bam.
difference. It's that simple.
Well said.
They
Well
don't
said.
know that though.
No, they don't. They
No,
really don't.
they debt slaves. Listen, no currency at all exists for debt slaves. Paper money, gold, silver, platinum, nothing. But they don't know that. They have no idea it doesn't exist for them.
LJ, if I
Yeah.
give you $100, right,
Mhm.
and you're $200 in debt, how much money do you really have?
I have no money. No money.
Negative 100, right?
Negative 100.
Yeah.
The economy, it's positive. Our economy is positive and negative. Debt slaves are on the negative side. We are on the positive side. That's it. But they don't know that. They don't know that.
Could you also go into as well, for example, I need to talk about this all the time, but like, could you explain to people like how to get out of that matrix? Because like, I think most of our viewers, especially on the podcast, they are learning from us every single day, but debt is an anchor that most people have that they don't know how to get rid of.
Right. So this is what I do to help people. First, I show them, this is what I do as a service. SMD shows people how to own themselves by mathematically showing them that they do not. Okay. And how I do this, first you pull up your credit report. In psychological capitalism, credit reports are owner ledgers. They're nothing to be proud of. They keep a list of all their owners. Debt slaves have owners, right? So I have to show a person that they are owned.
Right.
By adding up all their debt is a large negative number. In order to own themselves, that's the price they must pay to own themselves. That's the price they must pay.
Okay.
Their credit report keeps a total of the price of their freedom. They don't know that's the price of their freedom. All they got to do is look on the credit report and see a large negative number. They got to pay that money back in order to own themselves. That's the owner's ledger. Once a person understands that, then I show them how to free themselves. That's why I showed my credit report live. Like nobody else on the internet does that. Nobody. That's why I do it. It proves to everybody that I own me. Nobody else would do that. Nobody.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. Because
powerful.
I'll be honest, bro. I don't want to show mine. I mean, I could show mine, but I'll let you have that one. Okay. So I guess the next question for me is for you is, if you had a chance to go back in time and you're maybe like 18, 20, 21, how would you move differently to kind of move forward? Because I have a lot of guys who are young that are coming up and they're like, yeah, bro, like I want to come into life the best way possible without much debt, much leverage. What should I do to kind of like get a start off? Like, for example, what would you avoid, I guess, in your younger years?
If I could go back to 18 with the knowledge I have now, or just to talk to an 18-year-old, I will tell the 18-year-old, you are free right now at this moment. You have no debt. You're financially ahead of everybody that you see.
Thanks.
You are free right now. Look at your credit report. You see no businesses on there? No, that means you're free. Anybody that they're free, but the 18-year-old's not going to listen to me because he's thinking, hey, you're old and this and that. But no, they're young. They're new to earth. I've been here, but I'm debt free and I have the knowledge to show them. But if they would listen and never finance cars, don't believe you're a homeowner with a mortgage, just don't. And you'll be rich. You'll have more money than everybody out there.
LJ, what is the worst debt you could possibly have as an individual? What's the worst debt you could possibly have that never goes away?
Financing an iPhone. That's the worst debt to have. The worst.
Worse than student loans?
Well, no, student loans is worse, but I guess financing an iPhone is embarrassing. No, okay, let's go back to student loans. Okay.
Oh man,
let's go back to student loans. Let's go back to student loans.
I was there.
The reason why student loans is the worst, that's a good question. The reason why the student loans are the worst because you can't bankrupt them.
Yeah.
If you put it this way, if you have student loan, if your student loans are older than your mortgage, you're the student loan. It's you. You got to pay off that. If you don't pay off that student loan debt, you will be a slave until you'll be a debt slave until you're dead. Period. That's the worst. That is the absolute worst debt to have. Worst.
Student loans.
Student loan.
Thankfully, I never had student loan debt, but I mean, the iPhone thing is a bummer because I did it too, man. But I remember Apple was giving away a promotion where like you could actually like get an iPhone on payments with no money down and zero interest. I was like, shoot, I'll take it. But still, it was like I'm paying for an iPhone. That's crazy. Installments.
This is now. Remember, debt slaves don't know people like me exist. They have no idea, right? But when you see a phone and it's branded with the company name Verizon or AT&T, 99% of the time their phone is financed. They don't know that they're advertising that they financed the phone because debt slaves think financing phones is normal. That's not normal. Only for debt slaves.
That is so true.
Their
Okay,
phone payments are the reason why they're making car payments. Their car payments the reason why they're making mortgage payments. It all adds up.
LJ, you had a video, right? I want to bring it up real quick on your channel talking about like car loans. And I'm not gonna lie, man. A lot of Americans, including myself, had car loans like for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at it as okay, with a car loan, you know, we need a car to get from point A to point B. To go to work, go to school, you need a car. But how should people buy cars, you think, now? Because once again, I think we're heading in a recession. What do you think about like buying cars right now?
Well, first, when you talk to somebody about buying a car, you got to ask first their definition of buy. What do you mean by buy? Cash or finance? Finance? Oh, wrong. There's only one way to buy a car, cash. There is no other way to buy a car. That's impossible. There is no other way, right? There is no. So if you got to finance a car, there's a problem right there. You got to figure out why you need to finance a car. Then you break it on down. Oh, I got credit card payment. Oh, I keep financing a new phone every year. Oh, I'm financing my furniture. Oh, I'm financing my shoes. That's why you're financing a car. They don't know to look why they're financing a car. Only debt slaves finance cars.
Because here's my advice now, from what I've learned from you as well as like in the real world experience. I've learned that if you're not a business leasing the car for a tax benefit, don't do it.
Right.
Or if you're an average person on the street, buy it cash, because what's going to happen is, like, for example, my dumbass, I bought a brand new car about when I first came to America, and I didn't realize buying that car meant interest, depreciation, and also as well, I was making a certain amount of money every month, but that big chunk of like $500 for a car payment took away from my opportunity costs. So like, was it worth it? Hell no. So I tell people nowadays, don't buy a brand new car. If you're gonna buy it used, maybe like 5 to 6 years under, pay for it cash, and then just drag that for a time being until you can afford to buy a new one, either cash or with a bigger down payment. But overall though, like you say, buy cash is definitely where you should go.
See, that you got to make sure you listen to the words they use. When they use buy, they're talking about finances. You got to remember, when debt slaves finance cars, they finance the taxes too, because they didn't even have the money for the car, so they ain't gonna have the money for the taxes. So that the taxes are wrapped up in the loan. They don't know that they're financing taxes when they finance cars. So they're financing the car, they're financing the taxes, they're financing all the fees that are in it. They're financing everything as it goes down in value at the same time. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I didn't realize that at first.
But they don't. But you got to remember, like, remember when earlier I said the economy is positive and negative. Okay. Debt slaves must believe it's normal to finance cars. That is the only way the car market can exist. That's why it's in trillions of dollars of debt, of car loan debt, because that's what they believe. Now, if you're on the other side, on the positive side, you get to reap the rewards, because if they're making payments like this, phantom income, if the average car payment is $700 a month, if you don't have a car payment, you make $700 more per month than the average.
Bam.
And guys, the average is the millions of debt slaves making the same financial decisions as one.
Say that again, brother. Say that again. Say that one more time.
This is called phantom income. Okay. The average car payment is $700 a month. If you don't have a car payment, you make $700 more per month than the average.
Damn. It sounds simple, but it really is that simple.
Like, it is that simple. It really is. That's why they think it's so difficult, because that's all I'm doing is quoting the calculator. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not doing nothing fancy.
It's a guy that lives with his parents that got a brand new BMW. Says, "Yo, look at my BMW. It sounds crazy. It looks dope, but the payment is $700 a month. He's making out his job $2K a month. So that's a huge chunk of his money going towards the car. That's losing money.
He's living with his parents?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And no, this is typical middle class kid in America, right? Because I lived in a middle class area when I first came to America, and they'll get a brand new BMW or Audi or like Mercedes, $700 a month for that payment, and then they had a job for $2K, and they're like, "Yo, I got a nice car, whatever." But before you know it, they're paying for depreciation, interest, and as well, when they go to sell the car, it won't be even worth what they pay for it. So they're losing money all over, through and through. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
But that's the negative side of it. That's how it's supposed to be. They're supposed to finance cars, roll negative equity into a new car loan, get gap insurance because they owe so much, way more than what it's worth. If they got in a wreck, they still owe 10,000. All that is normal, but they're choosing to be on that side of the negative side of the economy because they're not trusting the calculator and they don't own themselves. What I'm telling you right now, if they never own themselves, they will never understand that capitalism is psychological. They can't.
Damn. LJ, what do you think is the future of the current, I want to say, marketplace? For example, what's the future? You think is going to be a recession? Is it going to be good, rosy? What's the future? Are the Feds raising rates higher as well?
Okay, you got to remember, when I look at the economy, it's much different than what other people look at the economy. Okay. Debt slaves are the economy. I just watched when you use words in like equity, recession,
FTX.
those words are positive and negative. Like when you use words like statements like compound interest, it's positive and negative. So anybody telling you about what's going on in the economy, you must first know if they own themselves or not. Because if they're say like there's somebody on the YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
And he's talking about the economy. Oh, there's going to be a recession and this and that. But then you find out the person that's telling you that has had 20 years worth of student loans for 20 years. If he's telling you about the recession, he's telling you about the negative side of the word recession because that's the only perspective he can have because he's in debt. You can't take financial advice from people who are in debt because they don't own themselves. So you have to ignore it. Anybody rolls up in a car and you hear them making payments, I don't even hear them no more because that's a debt slave driving the bank's car. I don't care what kind of car it is. You can roll up in the baddest car, and if I hear you mention a car payment, I just stop paying attention because the bank is letting them drive that car that they don't even want. The bank don't even want that car. They're just making the money. So I get it,
Okay. And what about student loans? Are they ever going to forgive that for people? Is that ever going to be a thing? Or
they're never going to let go of debt slaves. If they forgave student loans, they would release all the debt slaves. They're not doing that. That'll never happen, ever. That will never happen. The only way to get out of it, you got to pay it off. That's the only way out. That's how I did it. I had to pay them off.
Damn.
That you can't release that. That's $1.7 trillion worth of debt slaves. That's 45 million debt slaves under their control. You think they're gonna let them free? Nope. You got to free yourself. Sorry.
And for the average person, they go to buy a house, right? And
what do you mean by buy? What do you mean by buy?
Well, when I say buy, they go to get a loan on the house.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay. Let's use those words because I don't want them to get confused.
Yeah, they go to get a loan on the house, right? Let's say middle class, maybe a little bit below middle class. Go buy a house. Yeah, I got a house. Sorry, they get a loan. I have a house. Yeah, I'm a house owner, but they're paying payments on the house. And let's say they might lose their job. They might have a income issue. Like the bank is the one that's going to have the upper hand. And I think personally, if you're in a position where you're house poor, like it's only a matter of time until like the bank takes the house back from you. But what's the strategy you think behind the bank doing that, in your opinion?
Just business. It's nothing personal. They don't listen. Okay, I'm gonna show you on the negative side. Okay, let's do I'm gonna take you from the negative side to the positive side.
Yeah.
Negative side, the housing market. They make millions of people believe they're homeowners with mortgages. That's business for the bank. Millions of them believe it. They all believe it. It doesn't matter what they believe, as long as they're making the monthly payments to believe it. It doesn't really matter. Now you come over to the positive side of it, and you look at the housing market now. Look how much is available. If you look like this, if they removed everybody with mortgages, how many houses do you think would be available for you?
A lot.
The housing market wouldn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It couldn't exist, right? So they don't know that. So from the positive side, that's how you got to look at it. When you go buy real estate, everything's always available. As long as that area you're looking for, if they have mortgages, it's just a matter of time, job loss, divorce, breakup, whatever. It's a million reasons. They don't know.
So I want to play devil's advocate here, LJ. So in this economy, paying cash for everything is kind of like expensive because it's very high price. I work a regular job. I can't pay cash. what am I gonna do, LJ? Like, I can't afford it to pay cash for everything. Like, what am I gonna do?
I guess they're going to go borrow it. I guess there is no other option. What do you mean? They got to borrow the money.
But then I'll make them a debt slave.
Correct.
So the only option is to pay cash. That's it. That's the only way out.
That's the only way to buy anything. See how I got to think. There is no other way to buy anything. Okay, let's make sure that's clear. Mathematics says there is no way to buy anything except cash. There is no other way. Everything else is called financing. Period. There's no other options, right? You walk, like, when you put it this way, if you go to the bank looking for a 30-year mortgage and you have student loans that you haven't paid for in 20 years, and you think you're going to pay off a house in 30, the bank is going to financially abuse you because you don't know you can't have student loans and you just can't do that. But they don't know that, so they're going to get financially abused. FHA mortgages, subprime mortgages, it's just business though. I don't really care what the banks do because they're not doing it to me because I know what they do. It's business. It's nothing personal. Like if I go get a loan and they run my credit, they're going to know I own myself. They're going to know I'm very rare because nobody comes asking. If I'm coming asking for a loan and they run my credit and nobody owns me, they know I'm only there for business, period. Nothing more. I'm only accepting the best rate, and they're going to know all that by my personal credit report. They're going to know immediately because people's credit reports don't look like mine. They're not blank.
Okay. Yeah, because my thing is like, the only way I can see this working is if like I buy a car cash and I pay it off because I'm gonna keep the car. So that's why I see it working because I'm gonna keep the car long term. So I'm just paying for it up front without the interest and the depreciation. But okay, so when it comes to dating, right? Because I think this is a big topic here, guys in the chat. Dating wise, like how do you choose a woman when she might be the debt slave herself? Like she may be the matrix slave to the debt, and like how do you choose a woman in your sense?
If I was back in my 30s with this knowledge, which I wish to God I did have it. I wish to God I had it, right? And I was going out on a date. I was first, you got to remember, when you understand capitalism is psychological, everybody thinks car payments, credit card payments, financing phones, they think that's normal. Okay. So they will mention, I'll listen for her to mention for car payments, or I'll say like, hey, this is what I'll do because they won't know. Hey, how do you feel about Biden forgiving 10, 50, 20,000 worth of student loan debt? If she responds like, oh my God, oh, I sure hope he does, I'm not dating her because I know she's a debt slave. Immediately. Sorry. Because but say like this, let's go on the positive side of it. If I say like this, hey, how do you feel about Biden forgiving $10,000, $20,000 of student loan debt? And she turns to me and says, what? I didn't hear about that. That means she's not. Only people in student loan debt care about student loan debt relief. People that don't, we don't care. I don't really care about it. It's none of my business.
Okay. That's a good take. How should I vet her though? Like for example, like if I'm on a date and let's say we don't bring up politics, how do I know that she's not like good long term? How would you like vet her?
Put it this way. Oh, go ahead. What?
How would you vet her to like determine if she's good long term?
Well, once you own yourself, you become a different person. Let's put it that way. That's the best way I can describe it. Once you own yourself, you become a different person. That means you become secure within yourself. So you will always be, you won't be afraid to tell people how you feel, not rudely, just how you are, right? And she has to be the same way. First of all, she can't be a debt slave. That's number one. I wouldn't even have sex with a debt slave. I wouldn't, because I would if really. But think about it this way: if you accidentally get a debt slave pregnant, now you're going to be tied to the debt matrix for the next 10 to 18 to 20 years.
Damn, that is true though. Damn, true.
I'm not doing none of that. Your future is court dates, child support payments, blah blah blah. No, I'm not doing none of that. If she's
hell a debt slave, no,
bro. Nope.
But
but I would be honest with them. Hey, this is how I would be. Hey, you're nice and everything, but you got that student loan debt. What you gonna do about it? Oh no, everybody has student loan debt. That's okay. Goodbye. Only debt slaves have student loan debt. She got car payments. If she got it's really no point in pursuing anything because I would never take a debt slave serious.
So LJ, before I get to the bedroom, the
Mhm.
check, I'm gonna be like, yo, show me your credit report right now. Show me
Well,
it
if
right
you're in
now.
the bedroom, all you thinking about is sex, period. But you got to remember, you can determine if she's a debt slave or not well before the bedroom. Well before. If she mentions car payments, you date women. All you got to do is just listen. How are they living? What are they buying? How are they buying? The thing you want to hear is how are they buying it? If they're using credit cards, you pretty much know what you're about to get yourself into. You're about to date to death. And if you accidentally, if you trust the next 18 to 20 years of your life with a thin piece of latex that's not, they don't even guarantee it. If that fails, you are trapped. Period. even if you're not with her,
Yo,
it don't even matter. You are trapped. Believe that. No,
man,
thank you. I'm not doing none of that.
man, that is crazy. Okay, okay. And damn. So you saying don't even smash him?
No, I'm not. No, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying not have sex. Okay, okay. I'm going to make sure I'm clear because I think it's coming across wrong. I'm not saying not have sex with a debt slave. I'm just saying make sure you are fully aware of what you are about to do. That's all. Because once you own yourself, you know for a fact that if you get her pregnant, you no longer own yourself. Immediately, the state owns you. She owns a piece of you. Your child owns a piece of you. That's what. So if you go ahead and do it with full awareness of about what you do, go ahead, have fun, do whatever you want to do. But I'm just saying, it's different, very different.
Yeah, because it's all up to their control at that point. Because you give them the seed. So yeah, okay, that's a good point. Guys, if you don't mind, ask questions to LJ as well. We'll take super chats for Q&A. But I do want to bring us the videos that you made here on your channel, which are kind of hilarious. The shorts you make are funny as hell. Yeah, everyone's saying PlayStation is playing you, basically.
Yes. If your student loan debt is older than your new PlayStation, guess what? The PlayStation is playing you.
I found that hilarious, by the way. Finance car. Go ahead.
Because debt slaves don't know you can't buy a PlayStation if you have student loan debt. You can't do that. You can finance one, but you can't buy one.
There you have it. Finance car.
Open up the calculator app on your phone and enter the following. Your electric car payment minus your electric car balance equals, it doesn't matter how a finance car is powered.
Yeah, I can see you laugh, wanting to laugh every time you make these videos because it's like it's so simple, but like people don't get it. It's hilarious, bro. I just find it funny.
Think about all the people with Teslas, with finance Teslas, right? They don't know that they're not saving money on electricity, on gas. They're not
saving money on gas. I don't know, bro. I find Teslas ugly, but hey, I think they're great. A great concept. I just find them ugly. This one's good too. The average car payment is $700 a month. If you don't have a car payment, you now make $700 more per month than the average. Facts. That's very true. Positive compound interest. That's crazy. Compound interest is positive and negative. The interest on your car loan is compounding negatively for you and positively for the bank. Compound. Yeah, it sounds simple, but it's profound, man. It really is that simple, though, Fresh. It really is, man. Check this out. I'm just using the calculator. That's it. I'm not doing anything fancy. Here, let me show you something. I'm gonna show you something. Okay, check this out. Check this out. All right, check this out. I'm gonna show you something crazy. Okay. Now this is prop money. Okay. All right. Look, I'm gonna count out 600 of this money. 6, 1, 4, 5, 6. Now this is prop money. Okay. Okay. Now here's $600. Okay. So positive, negative, physical, psychological. This they don't print this, but it's just as real as this. Okay. So the average car payment is $700 a month. Okay. All right. Yeah. So now imagine holding this $100 bill in your hand and open up the calculator app with the other. Okay. And put in 100 minus 700 and hit equal.
Okay. Now, according to the calculator, do you have $100 in your hand?
Of course.
No, listen.
Not.
Okay, I'm gonna say it one more time. Put in one. Pretend you're holding this $100 bill. Okay.
I'm trolling. I know. I'm trolling.
Okay. $100. I'm gonna say it anyway one more time. Okay. The average car payment is $700 a month. Imagine you're holding a $100 bill in your hand. Open up the calculator app in the other and put in 100 minus 700. Now, according to the calculator, do you have $100 in your hand? The answer is no.
No.
According to the calculator, do
Negative.
you have negative $600 in your hand? Yeah.
Red money.
See?
Yeah. It's
This is
simple.
what debt slaves use. This is the bank's money right here. This is what the banks use.
Yeah, it's common sense, but people don't take it that serious. And you know the funny part about it is, I understood that coming to America, I need to have money in order to buy assets, but I didn't know or understand the leverage of personal versus business debt. Mm-hmm. And learning that was a big game changer, because now I know buying dumb stuff on credit, personal loans and all these dumb like credit card stuff, like no, business only, like assets. Because if I do that to myself and I do it in my personal life, it's going to transfer to my business life as well. So it's a two-pronged offense if you have the bad habits. So.
Well, again, you got to remember that when debt slaves use words like asset, so like somebody said, hey, this is an asset, okay, whatever that may be, right? Do you turn to that person and say, do you have student loan debt? If they say yes, they're talking about the negative side of asset, because when you're in debt, you can't own nothing, so you can't have no assets. But they don't know that. Debt slaves don't know you can, like, when you don't own the business of yourself, you can't make the crossover to business. You can't do that, because you're going to treat business the same way you treat the business of yourself. So if somebody said, hey, Fresh, I want to work with you in your business, right? And you say, first, I need to see your personal credit report. They're going to say, well, why do you want to see that? I want to see how you've been treating the business of yourself first. That's what I want to see first.
Well said.
And if they got debt, collections, and blah, 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 I wouldn't go into business with themselves, because they don't even care about themselves.
You know, it's funny. So my co-host for the podcast, right? Myron Gaines.
Mm-hmm.
I, without even looking, I already knew who he is as a person, and he hates debt just as much as me. Mm-hmm. Like we both hate debt, like bad debt, of course, personal debt. Mm-hmm. So I already know if I saw his credit score, it'd probably be like down to nothing, because he pays off on time all the time his credit cards.
I can hear him. I heard him speak.
Yeah. So it's funny, because that mindset people don't really have, bro.
No. Well, their slaves don't know the difference between business debt and personal debt, right? Because they don't own themselves, so they can't really understand that. So if you go to get a car and it's in a business name, your customers are paying for that car. You're not paying for it; they are. So so if you came up to me and you're rolling up in your new car and you're making payments, but it's under the business name, I get it, because I know you're not paying for it. Your customers are paying for it. But when you finance a car personally, it's you. You're in debt to a car for 7, 8, 84 months. That's insane. Absolutely bananas, right? But trying to make the crossover, because once you're debt-free first personally, and then you make the crossover to business, you understand that your customers pay your taxes, all your expenses, your cars, your clothes. They pay for everything. That's why taxes help build wealth. Taxes help you build wealth. Debt slaves believe taxes are bad. Once you cross over, own yourself, you understand that taxes are very, very good. They help you build wealth, period.
Okay. So yeah, chat. Any more questions, you can hit us up with super chats here. And then I got to ask a question, brother. So if I'm a young guy, right, and I want to kind of like get out of debt, do you believe in the snowball effect, or do you believe in like paying off the highest and then the lowest? What's the best way about that?
Dave Ramsey snowball method. Put your debts in order and do it like that. Smallest to large. Interest rates have nothing to do with it, because interest rates are not the problem. It's just a symptom. Like if you got a high interest rate, obviously you got bad credit. Period. That's what that is. So if you got 29.99%, I already know what your credit report looks like, because you're paying that. Obviously, right?
Yeah.
So just the snowball method, that works so quickly. And then once you free yourself, boom. But again, I had to leave the Dave Ramsey train, because in his plan, he says, when you get down to your mortgage, start putting away 15% of retirement, when I know you can't do that with a mortgage. So I just left. That's all.
So you're saying in a nutshell, if you have any kind of debt that's like personal, you can't be investing money at the same time.
No, math is saying that, not me.
Yeah,
Math says that. Like people with mortgages, they can't invest in retirement, stock market, crypto, FTX. They debt slaves are the stock market. They are cryptocurrency. They are FTX. They are that picture selling shit. They're all that, right? Because they have no money to get it. That makes them it. Like when they invest into their retirement plans while having a mortgage, they are the retirement plan, because you can't do that mathematically. You can't save for retirement while having a mortgage. So they're everything. They don't know money. No currency exists for debt slaves. None. Zero. Paper, nothing. They don't know that though.
What do you think about FTX and what happened with the whole breakdown of FTX? You think it was warranted? You think it's conspiracy? What do you think about it?
FTX is for debt slaves. Okay. Now, if you understand how it works, once you understand that capitalism is psychological and you understand FTX is debt slaves, you will know when to put your real money in, because people on the positive side had real money. You would know when to put your real money in, and you'll know when to take it out. Like you'll know, say like the student loan payments is coming around in January. They're not going to have any money to pay it. They're not going to have the money to pay their student loan debt. So buy cars, houses. They would have probably ran to go get some money from FTX. But if you already know that's going to happen, I would already pull all my money out before student loan debt payments are due, because I know that's what they're going to do. Oh, I made some money in FTX. Let me go get that money. Oh shit, there ain't no money there.
Yeah.
So it's like the unregulated wild, wild west of gambling. They probably just take debt slaves' money. That's how I look at it. It's like,
no, it is like gambling, because like you don't know for certain. They could pull the rug at any moment.
Well, when you understand capitalism is psychological, you'll know exactly when to do it. It's not it looks like the stock market and stuff like that is hard to predict. But once you understand capitalism is psychological and debt slaves are the currency, you'll know that they are the stock market. They're the insurance plans, life insurance plans. They're the retirement plans. They are the taxes. They are everything. Everything.
Okay. Do you think these guys that are the biggest, like, I guess, influence on YouTube, for example, Graham Stephan, Pete Kevin, Grant Cardone, do you think they put out a good message, or what's your thoughts on them?
This is all you guys need to do. When you look at big people like that, all you have to do is say, can I see your personal credit report? That will tell you immediately if they're full of shit. Immediately. Do you see how I did it? Look, why is it so easy for me to show you my personal credit report? Do you ever think about that? Why is that? Why?
Because you have nothing to hide, I guess.
Nothing to hide. I own myself. If they're so big, if they have so much money, they will own themselves too. Period. People with money own themselves. That if you own yourself, that means you own the time in your life. If you have debt, you don't own yourself. So if I come across, I don't really listen to Grant Cardone. I don't really listen to that stuff. He's not really talking to me. He's talking to people that believe they can buy property with no money. He's talking to those people, not me. I know I can't buy no property with no money. I don't need nobody to tell me that. I already know that. You can't profit. You can't cash flow off a rental property if you didn't have the money to buy the rental property. That doesn't make any sense. This is all a person got to do. Say like there's somebody out there right now with a rental property that believes they're cash flowing. I want you to open up your calculator app. I want you to put in your rental property payment minus your rental property balance and then hit equal. That is your cash flow. That's your cash flow right there on the calculator. The calculator is showing you your cash flow, your equity, your appreciation, everything. All you got to do is believe it. That's all.
Shout out to the cash flow, man. Okay. And I guess I want to also mention as well, when should somebody quit their job? Like, when should somebody say, you know what? All right, I've created a side business. I've made enough money. When should I quit my job? Do you think?
I say never quit your job until you own yourself first. Don't do that. or unless you have a surefire idea that you know for a fact is going to make some money. But I would never quit my job if I didn't own myself. That's a no-no. I quit my 6-figure job, but I was debt free by that time. I was making my last job, I was making $160 a year. And then once I freed myself, I quit.
Could you describe what it feels like to be debt free, especially working a job and not working a job? As in, like, because I know the feeling itself is amazing. I felt amazing when I was debt free after your consult. Like, what does that feel like to you?
When I became debt free as a computer engineer, I started feeling like I was trapped. When I would go to the building, I would realize I'm gonna be there for 8 to 10 hours. Come in there when the sun's coming up, leave when the sun's coming down. And then I realized I was doing that 5 days a week. I started getting just like stifled, like I was trapped, right? And then to the point to where I just had to quit, because once I was free, I could easily, when you own yourself, you don't need a job. You realize a job is a tool. I'm just here to make money. I'm not here to make no friends, get my money, get out of here. But the people that you're at my business, they knew I started turning different, because I was like, I didn't really let the managers talk to me any old way. I wouldn't let them call me no more after hours like I used to always do. As an engineer, you allow them, you think it's normal for the business to call you anytime they want after hours, right? But then I realized if I allowed that, that means they're paying me 40 hours, but they own 24 hours, 7 days a week of my life. So I said, no more of that. And then I just quit. People were like, oh my God, LJ, what are you going to do? You know what I said? I don't know. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. They were like, oh my God, I wish I could do that. You know what I said to them? I said, you can. All you got to do is get out of debt. Here, I'll show you how. Oh, forget all that, man. No, man, I ain't doing. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.
I'll never forget when I became debt free at my old job. I felt like a weight literally was off my shoulders. I felt like,
yeah,
I'm going to work. I'm like, wait, okay, now I'm not worried about paying debt. I'm worried about what's the next step. I'm here at a cubicle, and I could be outside doing stuff. It was like I felt like I was like inside of a box, and then I was free. I was like, yo, how do I achieve more? How do I do more?
How do I keep this freedom? How do I keep it? Yeah,
I think when you're not in debt, you can freely think to what's the next step. When you're in debt, you're focused on paying the debt, focused on your issues, paying bills. Like, it's annoying. When you're free, it's like you're finally able to say, you know what, woosah. I am.
Well, this is what it is, Fresh. This is what it is, Fresh. When you're debt free, stress is gone. There's no more stress in your life. When you're in debt, you think stress is just part of life. It's not. That's a choice. I didn't know that till I got out of debt. I was like, damn, I'm sleeping good. Woo, I'm sleeping like a baby.
I sleep real good.
So I was like, damn, I love sleeping, right? But when you're in debt, you think stress is part of life. No, it's not. I don't allow any of that. Anybody to come in my life, if they got stress or problems, nope. If you sleep like a baby, your friends start to switch up because you guys don't talk about the same things anymore. They talk about debt slave stuff, and you don't talk about that. Your circle is going to switch. Once you're free, you'll speak a different language. You won't be saying things like, hey, I bought a house and it's a mortgage. You won't say stuff like that. Hey, look, I bought a new car. I got it on sale. And you finance it. Nobody gets a finance car on sale. That's a lie. Who told you that? The car dealership? You can't get a finance car on sale. The sale price for a car is for cash buyers only.
Period. Yeah. And Freddie Moore says, LJ, what's your retainer?
$100 for a consultation at savings-debt.com. Just sign up, and then just $100 to talk, and then we'll go from there.
And guys, back then, I was like, $100. Hey man, I'm gonna give it a shot. And that was the best $100 I spent, hands down. So
yeah, that's when I was doing work too. Now I just talk to them, and so they can understand the perspective of what I do. I want them to understand that I help them own themselves I don't help people with their finances. I help people use mathematics on their finances. I help them. This is how you use math on your finances. And then I help them own themselves. And then once they own themselves, it's like, put it this way. If I hired a tax business accountant for my business, the requirement, especially for a tax person, a tax professional, they must be personally debt free. That's a requirement.
Yeah.
Out of all the people, accountants, tax people, they must be personally debt free to understand that capitalism is psychological. That's a requirement.
Well said. Well said. Okay, we're gonna start closing this down a little bit here.
Okay.
So LJ, anything you want to tell the people that they should know? Because I mean, you have so many videos, bro. I can't even like go through all the topics.
Do they
but
got
like,
any questions? Anybody got any questions?
I put the questions out here.
Oh, I thought you put them up. I thought you were gonna put them on the screen.
Let's see.
Even if they want to come up and ask me, I'm cool with that.
Let's see here.
This is a rare thing, Fresh, and it's supposed to be that way. Only a certain percentage of people are supposed to know that capitalism is psychological. They're not going to really pay attention to me until I meet Elon Musk or Warren Buffett or any person that understands.
Yeah, but we need people to be in the system though, because we don't want to
say it again.
We need people to be in the system because we don't want to clean our shoes or like wash our cars. Sometimes
correct.
It's
like we need a choice though. You get to choose.
Because when you're in debt, you have to do your job.
Correct.
If not, you're gonna suffer or either be homeless. So either you go to work every day and slave because you have to pay your bills. Mm-hmm. You have to either pay the rent or pay for your debts, because if you don't pay your debts, it's gonna come out to you. So it's just crazy, bro. Like people take advantage that the freedom is what you actually need. You need freedom, man.
Financial freedom is zero. They taught us all this in elementary school. Zeros in the middle, green numbers on the right are positive, red numbers on the left are negative. They taught us all this in elementary school. They did, but nobody uses it on their finances. But that's how it's supposed to be. If, again, like I said before, if debt slaves knew that they couldn't buy a house with a mortgage, the housing market wouldn't exist because it couldn't exist.
Yeah.
Same thing with car loans. Apple wouldn't be as big as they are if people were paying cash for phones. They're financing phones. That's why Apple is big as what they are, because they're financing the stuff. That's all. Hey, congratulations, Apple. I get it, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, I got some things coming up for Art Basel here in Miami. Might have some big guests coming to the podcast.
Nice.
So I got a phone call here in like a little bit. Okay. So someone wants to know, what is your credit score?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a long time, so I don't know. Go tell them to check out my video. They can go see it themselves. Just go to my channel, type in Credit Karma, and you can go see it yourself. I'm sure it's the same. I just haven't looked at it in a long time because I don't use credit, so I don't really pay attention to that.
So go to Credit Karma.
Go to my video. It should be go to the community area. I think I just posted in the community area. That'll be the fastest to find it. Yeah, there you go.
This one?
Yeah, that's it right there. So somewhere in there, it's somewhere in there. I don't know exactly where it's at in there. But
the banks are really looking at these.
That's other people's. That's not mine. That's other people's. I was showing the credit reports. I was showing the credit reports of other SMD family members that got out of debt.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so this is you.
Yeah, that's me right there. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
And you have 0 loans.
0.
And credit cards, you pay them off every month, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I use that because I don't like using my debit card, because if some fraud stuff happened, my credit card backs it up. I don't really care.
Protection.
Yeah, protection.
That's good though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But hey, most people will never show you their loans.
Those are other SMD family members' credit reports right there, showing all zeros. See all those zeros?
Yeah.
That all those people own themselves. That's how we recognize each other. If you understand capitalism is psychological, your credit report proves that, because your credit report cannot be faked.
Bam.
It can't be faked.
Now this is actually pretty good, man. I don't know any other person that's not gonna that's actually gonna show their score.
Right.
So
don't you ever wonder why? You probably look at some people, say like I know some people that make some money. Ask them to hey, can I see your personal credit report? It shouldn't be a big deal. If you ask me, I would here, check it out. I don't care.
Yeah, they would never.
Why not? Why not?
Because they're scared, man.
I did. Why am I doing it and they won't? And they got so much. If you got so much money, why don't you just show me? Show me your personal credit report. Show it to me.
Because they're in debt.
They're in debt. They don't have as much money as you think they do until you see that personal. I don't see stuff until I see their personal credit report. I don't care what they're driving. I don't care if they have a Ferrari. I don't care if they have a big ass house and wherever. Unless I see your personal credit report, all that belongs to the bank. I don't really care about the bank stuff. I don't care.
Yeah, you've seen mine, but I don't want to put it out to public. I'm very private when it comes to my money, where I put it, so I'm keep that private. But yeah,
no, you stay private the way you are, man, and a lot of people are. That's why when I talk about other, I ask them first if I can mention them or say something, because some people maybe they don't want to know I helped them. I don't know, so
Yeah, no, I'm glad you helped me, man, because I needed help, brother. So I appreciate that a lot.
You took off, man. You understood it right away. I didn't need to work with you that long. You took off with it.
All right. Just tell them where they can find your brother, and then anything you want to tell the people before we end this.
Okay, yeah, you can if you want to schedule a consultation, just go to savings-debt.com and schedule it's a $99, right? And then we'll get on the phone and I can tell you what I do to help you free yourself and own yourself and be unlike anybody else. Or you can just email me at savings-debt@gmail.com. And you can follow me on YouTube at savings-debt. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I just got a phone call with a big guest for the show.
Okay.
But yeah, I think this was a W stream, man. I think personally, bro, like we've covered a lot here that people could definitely learn from. And look, guys, being in debt, yes, it sucks, but you can get out of it. Trust me, if I could do it, the amount of debt that I had, bro, the personal loan for the motorcycle, the credit cards, what else did I have? I think that's it. Yeah, 2 credit cards, personal loan, you could do it as well. And I was well over I think 20, 30K. So, and I paid off work overtime at my old job. So I would go to work at 6 a.m., work till 12 midnight every day, and I would barely spend any money. I would eat the food at work and put all that money into my debts. And I paid off a small one, got some confidence, paid off a medium-sized one, then a big one, and before you know it, I was done. So, guys, I'm telling you guys, if you want to have the freedom to think and have a business of your own and actually progress, you need to have the freedom of having no debt. And no debt comes with you paying off your debts. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. But if you don't pay off your debts and you acquire more assets, are you really paying? Are you really getting assets? Or are you just getting a deeper debt? So yeah. All right. LJ, thank you for coming on, brother. I appreciate it a lot, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Guys, go support LJ, man. He's a really cool dude, humble, down to earth. Look, it's simple. You need help, he's there for you guys. He helped me as well, so I give him the A+ support. All right, so guys, we're gonna head out of here, man. This is a W stream. I'll see you guys in a bit. Peace.